Can you hear me?
Jasmine is connected to audio.
There we go. I think it was, I had my Bluetooth earphones in, and I just don't think that my computer likes when things are Bluetooth at the moment. So
yeah, I had a laptop that was like that before this one, and it's a whole nother language, isn't it?
Really is.
Well,
yeah, you just get the corporate Jasmine look.
Yeah.
Or the corporate from home Jasmine look.
Hey, versatile. You'd think you were a jack of all trades.
That's a good one. I like that.
But how has your day been?
Actually, it's been good. I don't know if I ever told you this. I've had problems for the last 4 months because I've been having to hotspot from my phone for 12, 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
And my phone was dying, and Telstra kept telling me that I couldn't change to a business account. Anyway, I finally found someone that was like, yep, there's a way to do it. Anyway, went in, changed it to a business account, got an extra SIM so that I could use a dongle, got a new phone. Like, it's just all happening, and I have to pay $0 today. And I got, which I'm really excited about, a wireless charger. So #gigs came with my plan. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to say no.
Nice, congratulations. That sounds like a way of making life easier when technology works with us.
Well, especially now that I've been given permission to go into the office, but one, with me hobbling around, two, with locking. I just feel weird about going in, particularly on public transport. Public transport. I have this weird phobia of being like pulled over by the cops, and like I've got stuff to say that I'm allowed, but I don't know. It's just a whole stereotype around it, you know?
Yeah, like you're breaking the rules or something.
Yeah, like it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm not. Like, I'm doing the right thing.
You're not guilty.
I'm going into work. No.
You could do a session on that. Like getting pulled over by the cops and just being ready for a chat. You're like, hi, can I help you? Is there anything I can do?
Hi, how you going? But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for connecting and jumping online today for a little recap since completing your case study. I think we finished it on the 14th of Feb. I only know that date specifically because I've been trying to look for your video of your like on the spot case study feedback video. I'll keep asking the universe to provide it to me. It may be in a different cloud that I haven't searched yet, but it's been since Feb, so it's been nearly half a year. If we get to the end of July, since you've completed it. And I remember your case study sessions were originally like close to weekly and fortnightly, and then towards the end it was kind of a bit more spread out just because of work and schedule and summer and Christmas and the new year and everything else in between. I remember it gave you plenty of things to bring up too, like lots of stuff to bring up for the healing. So like with work and life and personal life and just the holiday season and your birthday happened there too. There's so many things that came around, and I am actually quite impressed that I'm remembering all of this off by heart. I didn't even check any notes. That means I was really present in your sessions. Pat on the back for myself. So this is a recap video, more so just so I can check in with you too, but also to get some feedback for anyone else who is pursuing or interested or intrigued by what whole breathwork is. There's plenty of questions I could ask, but I suppose I can ask you first, would you like me to ask you some questions, or would you like to just run off how you feel now compared to what you felt back then? How things have been going?
Yeah, let's just do a mix. Let's see
let's
where
do a
we
mix,
go.
Have a chat.
We all know that I like to chat. I mean, more so now. I guess. Oh, hang on, I need to get comfy. I guess that's probably one of the first things that I've noticed since the case study is that like I'm a lot more open to talking to new people. Like growing up and even into my adolescence and early adulthood, I guess, which is where I'm at now. Like prior to the case study, I was very much, I personally would describe myself, but also others around me would describe myself as somebody who is quite reserved and quite shut off to everyone until you get to know me. Like there's such a huge barrier up, and like I'm not saying I'm the most vulnerable person to Joe Blow who's getting some milk from Coles, but I'm more open to having conversations with new people. Like, and it's really, I think it's just really changed the way that I communicate, not only with the people that I already know, but people that I'm either wanting to have some form of a relationship with, whether that be romantic, friendship, or, you know, work or whatever.
Yep.
But also it's changed the way that I, even, you know, going and catching the train, I would obviously say, you know, hello to people if they said hello back and stuff, but it would be very much like a reserve, like, oh, hi, like, go about your day. Like, whereas I'm just so open now to giving and receiving communication that's, I think that I didn't realize that it was a burden at the time, like a weight, that reserving myself so much, like I was spending so much energy not communicating or not being open to communication, that it was stopping me from all this connection, which is what, like, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, I connect with people. Like, it's just, it was never the same until, that, which I probably haven't really realized until like a couple of weeks ago. I was talking to somebody and I was like, oh, I wouldn't have done this. And I, you know, went and the guy I've been seeing, when I first went over to his house, I was like, he goes, I was expecting you to be like a lot more reserved or like awkward at all. I was like, why? Like, we get along well. Like, it was just, and at that point, it very much made me think, oh, hang on, previous version of Jasmine would have been very reserved or could have been very reserved in this situation. But like this Jasmine's like, bring on connection and communication. Let's go. So I guess that's probably one of the, I wouldn't say the biggest breakthrough, but it's very much a very versatile breakthrough that I've had. Because it's just such a natural thing that I thought I was doing well, or I thought that wasn't an issue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of the stuff that came up in our sessions, I didn't realize was what was holding me back until it was, you know, because we're all busy and we all suppress. Like, you don't know that that's what's causing it until you actually give yourself the time to really hone in on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Like, chuck it under the rug, kind of turn a blind
like,
eye.
I'll deal with that later, or it's not really important right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, you never open up that box again. Like,
yeah, because it's too hard basket.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that is huge. So hearing that, it's feeling like not the biggest highlight or the biggest insight, but definitely one that's really versatile across your whole experience of this year, to be less fearful, I guess, to connect with strangers, like not assuming that they're all creepy people that are going to hurt you, that people are actually nice as well. It's everyone's basic essence, like their whole being. When you see the light in them, they will see the light in you, and all of a sudden there's this opportunity to connect and just maybe even smile at someone passing by, rather than being like, don't make eye contact. A very simple way of explaining it. I am so proud of you, and I'm so grateful that that is something that's come up for you, because you are a beaming light of energy. When you're in your bubbly, genius, happy, true self zone, that's the version of you that I see when we do gigs together and when we work and all that kind of stuff. And when we're just post-gig, when it's all done and all the pressure's off, for you to be able to step into that for yourself in every other area of your life, already in 6 months, you've been able to continue that momentum. That is so amazing. So cool. So cool. I'm breathing it all in. What else? I'll go to the questions just because they're good ones.
Well, you came up with them.
I actually didn't. These are I'm definitely not going to take the rap for it, because Nicholas, my coach, has this for what we have done as feedback for years too, and they're so powerful. And so I just said, thank you. These are great questions. So, of course, you said you did the case study, so you know that that's there and that's on the video. So you said you've done the case study. And And it was private coaching. How did you feel about doing one-on-one coaching with so much focus on emotional healing?
Oh, what's the word? I was shit scared, to be honest, at the beginning. Like, I think because going through life, it's like nothing's ever really been focused on me. Like, I've never had the sole focus of anyone or anything on me. So to have this dedicated time, this dedicated case to really work on me, and I knew there was stuff that was going to come up, and not that I went in with expectations on what was going to come up, but you kind of know, like, you know what weighs you down, you know how it's impacts you, or could, or does, or did, all of the words.
I understand.
But like, yeah, I just hadn't had that kind of experience. So I think the idea of having someone solely focus on me made me uncomfortable, in the sense of there's no reason for you not to get through this now. Like, the only reason for you not to jump into the experience is purely based on your fear or your self holding back. Like, it's not based on, you know, Jimmy in the corner taking all the attention. It's not based on Joe over there who's, you know, having a dance party and getting everyone to clap him on. Like, it's just, it is you. And I think knowing that I had to own that was in itself, I guess, the first hurdle.
Totally.
Like, knowing that it was going to be, this is your time to heal you. Like, you don't have to go off and heal someone else. This is your time. And that really rocked my boat. Like,
and even saying, like, see if you can say it now by saying that was my time for me, as opposed to your time for you. Did you notice that you said that then?
Did I really?
And that's okay, because you're so fluent and in what you were sharing, and it's a heartfelt sharing to add into that, so you can feel what you're saying more. You can even add into the whole, this was my time for me. I was here for me. I turned up for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you did that. You turned up and you kept coming back, which was the next thing I was going to say. What you coming back to the sessions knowing how challenging they can be if you resist it? Because it's easy if you don't resist, right? But resistance is what makes people sometimes feel a little bit hesitant or unsure or fearful. What kept you coming back?
I guess the best analogy that I even use this when I would talk to a friend about, you know, because I would get a call, because I think most of our sessions were on a Friday night, so like or Friday afternoon. So typically, you know, people my age are like, oh, cool, let's go out for a drink, or let's go out for dinner or something. And I very much made it a thing that Fridays were now my thing. Like, that was purely for me. I don't need to go out and do this to grab satisfaction, or like to search for emotions, because that's what I was doing. So I guess the best analogy was, like, it was kind of like a holding a carrot in front of a rabbit. Like, I knew that there was something good. Like, it was, honestly, that was probably one of the most challenging times, because it was scary. Like, it was scary going through stuff that I'd blocked out for 15, 16, 17 years. And to even say that I'd blocked things out for that long when I'm not, like, I'm quite young to say stuff like that. Like, that's a large portion of my life.
Yeah.
I think, like, the space itself, I felt safe. I felt safe with you holding the space for me. And I knew that amongst all the pain of the sessions, it wasn't really, because at the end of the day, it wasn't as painful as holding on to it. Does that make sense? Like, the pain of going through it, yes, it brought it back up, but it was so draining. Like, I was so tired all the time, like
holding on to your energy.
Yeah.
Holding on to your emotion.
Yeah. Well, both. Like, just trying to put on this facade of, oh, everything's fine, we're going to pack this box and chuck it in the storage unit. Like, the storage unit was full. The storage unit was overflowing.
Yeah.
It was time to declutter the emotions and the experiences. So
it was easier to let it all go.
Yeah. yeah, coming back to the question.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, you've answered it, definitely. I'm just making
Yeah.
sure that what I heard you is what
No, yeah,
you said is
definitely.
what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I'm having
refreshing
a
to
sip
hear
of
you
my
recap
smoothie.
this, by the way.
Yeah, this is a bit emotional.
Let it come up if it
Oh.
comes up, definitely.
Hmm.
So one-on-one, coming back, what would you like to say to others about the benefits you gained?
Oh, how many hours have we got? Like, there
Whatever
was,
comes from your heart, whatever pops up.
I mean, there was a lot of benefits to it, and I think probably the main ones was, first of all, like, I learned a lot about myself, but not even learning about myself. Like, I relearnt who I was, like,
Mm.
authentically,
Mm.
because I think I'd spent so long trying to morph myself into who people wanted me to be, or who people needed me to be, that I had long forgotten who the heck Jasmine was. Like, I think that I think it was actually at a gig right before the case study started. Someone said, "How would you describe Jasmine?" And it really, like, I had a conversation with a child about this, and it really stumped me. Like, I did not know. Like, apart from my professions and my careers, I didn't know who I was. I knew what I did, but I didn't know who I was.
Mm.
Um, so I think just having that dedicated
It's
my
okay.
tongue's all twisty. Having that dedicated time to spend on myself, like, it was just undevoted time to that, and it naturally trickled through in everyday stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that leads into the next benefit of everyone around me changed. Like, they weren't doing the case, like, the program or anything. They weren't doing it, but I very much believe that, like, it was a mix between my perception of everything else changed. Like, green was no longer green. Green was green. Like, it was like, it was just very different, and the way that I reacted to things was a lot more different. So I was, overall, my experience of everything changed. Like,
Yeah.
um wasn't
Did
green,
oh,
it was green.
that's perfect. You did like a bit of a jazz hand moment. So your perception of everything shifted to something lighter by the sounds of that.
Yeah, like,
And
lighter and
people,
just free,
and you
you know?
said people changed, but they didn't do the case study. How was that? What happened for you? Who seemed to be interacting with you differently?
I think, uh I mean, a whole, like, it affected different people differently. Like, my family very much started to become more aware that there was things shifting with me.
Mm.
And at first, I wouldn't really say it was hostile or anything, but, they were probably just as, what the heck's going on here, what's shifting, as me. And as it went, like, we didn't have like, huge open discussions about it. They were fully aware of what I was doing.
Mm.
They accepted that that's what I felt was best for me, and that's what I was wanting to pursue. But there came an overall acceptance over me changing that was quite pleasant. Because a lot of the time, at least from my experience within my family, change is very rocky, and
Yeah.
change in my family is like a whole big thing.
Yeah.
So to know that there was that acceptance behind it, and not so much questioning, like, it was just allowing it to be. Um, and if something came up, I wasn't retaliating. Like, it was very much, I was able to see the situation for the situation rather than attaching the situation to a person. So
Mm.
I became less, like, stabby, attacky towards
Resistance.
others. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
But then, like, even at work, like, people would like, I do quite a stressful office job, and everyone's everywhere. And if I truly believe that if I hadn't have done the case study prior to, or as early on with starting at the company as I did, I would not still be there now, because there is just
Wow.
so much going on that I'm like, what the heck? What is going on? And, you know, there's certain team members that now come up to me purely to have a conversation, not to search for answers out of me. They're like, you're just very calming to talk to. Like, you bring me back down, because I don't go into the story. It's just like I've learnt how to take the situation as a situation, and again, not attach it to this manager or not attach it to this client. Like, it's very much, this is the situation, it is what it is, experience it, move on. Like, you know, stop holding on to stuff.
How nice is that feeling that you didn't like start a new job and terminate your placement there because of this healing that you've done?
Yeah.
You've like added some more tools to your toolkit kind of thing, where it sounds like working in a really, really big company like you have been, where there's a lot of interaction and open space, where you're in different meetings and you're dealing with an international scale, and there's lots of responsibility and pressure to get stuff done, where in your genius zone, when you're in your flow, that's like your playtime.
Yeah.
But add in the drama and the chaos of the human experience that we can sometimes fall into, you had these tools, and I'm so excited for you. I haven't actually heard you say that before, that you don't think you would have been there if you didn't do case study early enough. What a blessing. I'm so glad I asked you to do it. So glad, because how many people have been influenced by you now outside of the dance world as well? I'm thinking like Jazz is a dance teacher and everything, but not only the dance world, because you're a wonderful teacher and entertainer, but now like this whole corporate world is starting to get a taste of it. And there people are coming up to you just to sit with you because you're holding the space for them. That's so cool.
Yeah. Holy moly. Oh. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good time to reflect. I don't think I've actually ever I've always thought these things, but I don't think I've actually, like, I've journaled it, but I haven't said it out of my mouth.
Yeah, totally. And like internalizing it can sometimes just become like analytical and compartmentalizing the thought process and like tick it off a list kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And I feel the same. If I have a discussion, we kind of relax, have a bit of fun when we're chatting, and then all of a sudden the feeling can rise up again, which I know you know. So it's kind of, and it's nice to just allow it to flow. And I was like, how nice is it just to cry whenever you feel like you need to cry, and then on with it, as opposed to like trying to squish it down and your throat hurts and your neck hurts and then you feel crook. Crook? I said crick. Crick. Amazing. What other things would you say to people that you have benefited from this case study? What else? Health?
Oh, big time. Like, I mean, Jacq, when you met me, I was, without shame, like, I had something wrong with me every single week. There was always something new, whether it was continuing or whether it was brand new. Like, there was always something wrong, and that's not who I am. Like, that was very much covering up quite a lot, like, in my experience.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I think just a whole lot more awareness on myself and my body, and being able to listen to myself when it's like crying out for help. And I know when I'm not, because maybe you do your Achilles again. Like, and it's not shameful anymore. Like, it's me being able to own and take responsibility and ownership for my own health. Like, I very much used to, I think I'd probably best say that I used to blame it on everything else. Like, oh, my weight is this because of this. Oh, I feel sick because I ate this because of this person. Like, oh, I am injured because this person did this, which caused this situation. Like, it's very much became a whole circle of blame, rather than actually owning what the heck was going on in my life, because it's so much easier. Well, I thought it was so much easier to handball it off and not actually deal with anything, because
wash it away.
I'm invincible. I'm fine. It's not on me anymore. When in fact it was actually probably a lot larger on me at that point, because then I had the guilt of blaming something or someone else.
Yeah, the layers of emotion.
Yeah, like my health has improved tenfold. Like 12 months ago, even 6 months ago, I would not have joined a gym for myself. Like I would not have, you know, decided to go for freaking 8-kilometer walks just because I could, like, because it
Woo!
was like, it's just back then it was, I think I was felt guilty for taking time out for my own health,
Yeah.
because I didn't understand the importance, or I thought I understood the importance, but
Or other
I
people's
really
needs are
didn't.
more important than
Yeah.
yours.
Oh yeah, that's such a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one for a lot of people. It's
Mm,
huge to not actually prioritize ourselves. And it sounds like you're becoming more present with the little intuitive signs that pop up before it becomes really destructive. For
mm,
example, perhaps maybe the Achilles has happened again, but maybe at a much lesser um,
yeah,
impact of stopping
yeah,
you from doing what you really, really want. Maybe you listen to your body far, far, far more this time than what you would have in the
mm.
past. That's what
Oh,
my
definitely.
gut says. I believe that.
Mm. And I think, like, also with my, like, my anxiety and my panic attacks,
How are they
that has,
going?
oh, improved tenfold. I think I briefly mentioned this to you previously, but I it would have only been like a couple of months ago. I had what I thought was, I've eaten something that's making me feel sick. And it wasn't until I literally sat there and was like, hang on, what am I actually feeling, rather than trying to immediately, like, I defaulted. I've caught myself a few times during this lockdown period
You can catch
defaulting to
yourself
old habits.
default. Yes,
Yeah.
bird's
And
eye
so,
view.
yeah. And so I had immediately thought, oh, I'm feeling sick. Oh, it's because of it. Like, and I was like, hang on, come right back. And I then identified what I was feeling, where I was feeling it, and literally just breathed into it. And like, I was very grateful that, I've done this stuff by myself, but I had someone there with me that kind of reminded me to come back, because it was like, hang on, I've never seen you like this.
Mm.
And he's met me after the case study and everything. So he doesn't, like, I've told him about, like, we met briefly before then, but he's very much aware of this new version of Jasmine.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not like this. What's like, and him
So
joking without shaming it,
wow.
it was a, hang on, this isn't you. Like, do you need some time to yourself? Like, just, we don't have to leave right now. Like, just, you do you. Do you need me? Do you need me to leave and give you space? Like, it was such a different experience. And I reckon even if I had somebody 12 months ago that did that, I would have felt so much shame, because hearing, oh, we don't have to leave now, or I can leave and give you space,
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh my God, they now think this about me. Oh, they,
Something wrong with
the
me.
plans have shifted. There's something wrong with me. Like, the plans
Yeah.
have shifted. Oh, it's all my fault. What happens now? It was none of that. Like, so I think since the case study, I've probably had one or two true panic attacks,
Yeah.
but have been able to resolve it myself without reaching for different substances or different foods to suppress that. Like, it's very much been a breathe into it, feel it fully, feel disgusting during it, but
Yeah.
come out better on the,
You're
come
making
out
me
better
cry. That's amazing. It's
yeah.
like the fact that I knew you had resorted so frequently, and when you first told me that using alcohol was something that you were kind of like really shamed about, you were keeping it so private, and the fact that you unpacked that with me in your case study, and now you're still learning through this experience, you've just empowered yourself so much more by telling me, and you've made it so you've actually heard yourself say it to me now. That's why I can see you get more emotional. You're like, you've actually done this. You've processed it yourself with what you learned. And it was only 10 sessions. Like, ah!
Ooh. Wow.
So that you've become more conscious of when you start to have a meltdown spiral, but you have managed to stop yourself going that far down where you become oblivious to the choices that you make,
Yeah.
which hurt you in the long run. And they're only
Yeah.
those little temporary quick fixes that have so many layers of emotion, and you catch yourself as you start to go down that spiral, and you don't go that far.
Yeah.
That's so
And I know that if I reach for those substances for the purpose of suppression, example, if I was to have a shit day and go and reach for a glass of wine and have that glass of wine, it wouldn't taste good. Like, it wouldn't feel good. I would know that. And so, I may still reach for that glass of wine and have that glass of wine, but it doesn't end up being 2 or 3 bottles that night. Like, and it's without shaming it, like, it doesn't feel good. And I know that. And I then own, hang on, you're doing this for, like, not out of pleasure. This is to hurt yourself or to stop yourself from feeling, which in turn is going to hurt you.
And to numb it all out.
Yeah. And I think, especially during lockdown, the reaching for food has definitely been a huge one. And I went through a phase.
Yeah, because the kitchen cupboard's like just next door, right? You don't even have to go that far to the shops or anything. Yeah.
Like, to the point that I said to my boss when I went into work the other week, like, for a random day, I was like, oh my gosh, I've missed being into the office. It, like, puts me back into a routine. It gives me structured meal times.
Yeah.
But like, even like, I probably went through a phase, would have been about 6 or so weeks ago, so not even that long ago, that I was just so shitty with myself because I'd realized how much shit I had eaten. And it was like, I have had a lot shift lately. Like, had a huge falling out with my best friend, and I've had family members cut me out, and it's just been such a shit storm that I'm like, cool, I have no one, let's eat that food. And it's like, it was so different to be able to pull myself out of that rather than continuing to sit in a pile of shit, like, literally, like, to sit with all this crappy food around me. Like, it was such a weird experience because I don't think I'd gotten to that point and then being able to pull myself out, because I know I've gotten to that point, like, when we were having the sessions, but I was like, oh, I have a session, it's okay, I'll deal with it then, rather than no, you've got to deal with it at the time. So
this is yours. Yeah.
So it's whoa, whoa.
You're literally walking the talk. You've done so much. It sounds like, because I'm not sitting in the room with you when you're talking, when all these things are happening, but you've taken on these incredibly challenging, heart-opening experiences from these 10 sessions, and you're still implementing what you have learnt 7 months down the track during COVID, as a young woman living at home, trying to work from home, trying to teach from home, trying to have a balance, having people like loss, family and friends, funerals, all these things, huge things have come across in your experience. And I can see you have come out the other end much lighter and more empowered than what you would have if you didn't give yourself the time and the space to do all this work. How cool is that?
That's really cool.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so grateful that you gave yourself the time to do this, because without you, I can't do what I love. It's like talking to a brick wall if no one wants to ask for the support. But it's like, I've got all this love and passion to share with people, and I'm so, so grateful that you were open enough to step into this space of vulnerability and this complete fear of the unknown. And then you've taken that unknown basket and you're like, got it as your best buddy now, walking down the street. Like, everything else that's coming up in this year is like, COVID, bring it on. Unknown, breathe it in, validate it, surrender. This is how it is. And I know, like, it's lighthearted and we can be playful about it now, but like in the thick of it, when it's actually happening, it really sucks a lot of the time. But what I'm seeing you talking about is you're saying that you're pulling yourself back up, you're bringing yourself back together, and you're processing things as they come up. And you can only do that when you're conscious of your behavior or your thoughts or your emotions.
Yeah.
So even if you do default back to like unconscious, super unconscious states, you then come back into a conscious state, and you may like tango a bit from time to time. I still do. We're human.
Yeah.
You're like, you're practicing it. It sounds like you're really practicing it. I'm so happy.
I think that was probably one of the first things that I had to learn, because I very much remember, I think it was a few sessions in, I'd like started to feel really good, and then I had a shit time, and I was like, Jacq, it's not working. Like, it's not working. I'm not fit. And I think when I flicked and realized this is not one of your quick fixes that you do. Like, this is lifelong stuff that you take with you. Like, this is an ongoing journey. This is to assist you in being the best version of you at all times. Like, you can't have a band-aid for every day just to fix it. Like, that's not what this is. It's a new way. Well, at least for me, it's a new way of living, like an improved way of living, so that I can be better. Does that make sense? Like,
sure does.
Oh, I think, so when I realized that it wasn't a band-aid, like, not that I went in thinking it was, but I'm so used to searching for things that are a quick fix. When I realized that, hang on, you've actually got to put it in. Like, you've got to want it as much as you need it. It's a game changer, man. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Like, fully game changer.
I want to highlight how easy you're finding this sharing, how flowing and open you are about sharing how you feel about your growth and personal like milestones and insights. That's a breath of fresh air. It's so nice.
7 months ago, I would have been shaming myself for feeling good.
Yeah.
Or shaming myself for taking time out to,
I think you even had, when you used to practice sharing your emotion, it would soon, like straight after it, be coupled with a sarcastic note about yourself, like kind of like the good birdie and the bad birdie on each shoulder, like saying good things about Jazz, and the other one's like bullying you, as you said, like the critic self. And to hear you fully express how you feel and how you've gone through this, even when it's been challenging, and you're saying it with, like, you're self-asserting yourself, you're being open, you're being genuine, you're being heartfelt, and there's no little stabs on the side of self. You're not being like, I can't even imagine what you would say. It's been that long since I haven't heard you say anything like that, but I know what you mean. Great. Is there anything else you'd like to say to others about the benefits you've gained?
I mean, there's lots. Could be here for a week telling you, Jacq.
Take as much time as you like.
I don't know. Like,
what are you feeling right now?
Pardon? I heard you, but I didn't process you.
What are you feeling right now?
Just an overall, like, buzzing. Like, I think it's purely because I'm gonna lose it again.
You're not losing it, you're finding it.
I think it's purely because, like, I truly was at a point where I was like, ain't nothing gonna save me now. Like, I was pretty much gone from myself for a really long time.
Yeah.
And to know that this was just sitting there, and all I had to do was say, hey, Jacq, I ain't good. Like, it's such a I think it's such a refreshing thing to know that if I hadn't have taken up the case study, I probably wouldn't be here having this conversation right now. And that's such a shitty thing to think about it, but at the same time, like, such a powerful thing to me, because I truly was like, nothing's working, Jacq. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And there's probably one of two people that I've ever said that to, and so I'm like, to sit here now and not go back and reflect and think, oh, you were in such a shitty place. Like, just to know that I could come from somewhere so dark and so shitty and still come out on it being like, this was a good time. Like, it was shitty going through the case study at times. Like, and sometimes I just wanted to pop your head a little bit, like, in a loving way. But, like, I was like, Jacq, this doesn't feel good. And you're like, I I know it doesn't, but
Yeah.
it feels a lot better to let go of it.
Yeah.
And I still think I remember that last session so much, because I think at that point when it took me a while to get into those sessions, man. Like sometimes I was like, still, why do I keep calling you man? I'm sounding like a ghetto. But like sometimes it took me a while to actually get into the feeling part of it, because I'd be so stuck up here. And I remember that last session that we had, like it was straight into it, and it was, I'm pretty sure from memory, the last, like the thing that broke me was like, you were like, remember, do you want to hold on and keep the pain, or like it's easier to let go? And I just lost it, and I was like, this is what I've been waiting, like this is in your hands, like you have the choice. And I think just knowing that
you have the choice, or I have the choice.
I have the choice. Sorry, I have the choice.
You have the choice.
I have the choice. And you know, I still have
I
the
can't
choice.
hear you.
I have the choice.
It was a huge breakthrough. Massive.
Yeah. But like it's still like I still remind myself that now, because I have the choice to go back and drink 3 bottles of wine every night. I have the choice to, you know, go and do stupid shit to cause myself pain. But I also have the choice to be on the better side of it and continue down that path. And I'm telling you now, that choice is so much better. So much.
Does it feel lighter or heavier?
Oh, so much lighter, like a feather. Like I am the weight of one singular feather.
Wow.
I mean, this is like related but not related. But also, remember that quiz thing that I did? And it was the online one. I can't remember what it was, but it was talking about me and affection, or like, what was it? What quiz was it?
Is it like a love languages thing?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, literally it was.
Thank you, whoever told me that.
Thank you. It makes so much sense. Remember what I said to you? I was like, the physical affection one doesn't really make sense to me. Like, that's not me. It makes so much sense now. Literally. Oh, okay. Maybe this is related, but like we're just gonna share it anyway because we're here.
Hang on.
I just need
Pause.
to hang on.
Remember it. Pause. 2.3 seconds. Oh no, that's okay. There was a delivery man coming to the door, but he didn't need me to sign. Okay.
Delivery man.
Keep going. You got it. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's so fine.
Thank you.
Working from home, you know.
So affection, the love languages.
Affection, love language. Oh, yeah. So remember when I sent you the screenshots and you're like, yeah, I can see this. And I was like, physical affection doesn't make sense. You're like, you will see. I reckon it does.
Yeah. I
think, now, I could be wrong, but this is what I have realized in the last 2 weeks. If I hadn't have done this case study, like I am so affectionate. Like I've now realized I'm so affectionate. And with... this is so funny, but like in a good way. 7 months ago would not be seeing a guy that I'm seeing now. Like I would have shut that out. Like I think I purely hated myself that much that I thought, there is no possible way anyone could actually look at me like that, like at all. And just knowing that, like without the, I'm seeing a guy, like it's not about that. It's purely like, I've accepted myself enough and owned myself enough that I'm allowing others in that close. Like, it's just such a, it's really one of those moments that you're like, oh shit, you were real different 7 months ago, Jasmine.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah.
It's just, I thought about that love language quiz the other day and I thought, physical affection. That was right. I definitely do. Like, I definitely do respond well to physical affection. Like,
amazing. And how nice is that you've allowed yourself to experience that? If it's your number one love language, that even subconsciously you were kind of sabotaging the experience, and now you've done the work, and you actually get to enjoy what you know really lights you up.
So different.
I'm gonna ask you.
Molly, I wish we had have done these questions like at the start, like this.
When
Can you imagine?
You wouldn't have answered any questions.
Oh yeah, I would have sat there silent, like,
lovingly, no shame. You would have been like, I don't know. I don't know I just don't like where I'm at right now. And like in a heartfelt way, maybe actually you can go back to your question, the client history form.
Yeah.
I think that's as far as I would ever be able to get with someone who's beginning the 10-week program or the 10-session program, because there's so much work to do, to unpack and to experience before anyone can truly be open with themselves and their experience to share it in like this kind of way.
And so, I find that so interesting because like how I said before, like unless you know me, I'm a very closed book. Reflecting now to how I am to back then, I thought I'm an open book to Jacq, but my answer would be, I don't know, like I feel shit. Like that was as open as I got, because that to me was open. So interesting. Oh, this is good.
I'm glad I'm recording this so you can watch it back.
Yeah.
And you get to hear it again.
And again and again and again.
Can I ask you another question?
Of course you can.
Thank you. What has changed and will change as a result of doing this coaching? I know you kind of already answered bits, but is there anything else that you haven't kind of mentioned that has really stood out for you? Maybe my gut kind of like just went, what about future planning, future goals? Where do you see yourself going? How are you feeling in the state of being that you are now? And how does that affect where you want to be or where you want to go?
I think I feel as though I am less reserved about that stuff. Oh, hang on. There's a hair in my mouth. No, there's not. There was. No, it's not there. So red. You know when you feel like you have one?
Yeah.
Sorry, backtracking. Yeah, I feel as though I'm less reserved. Like, I feel like 7 months ago, if you had have asked me that, it would have been I don't know, like I'll probably teach, or like might still have a job, like I don't know, just something. Whereas now I'm like, cool, I know I still want to be working for this company in 12 months time. I'd love to go and visit one of the other offices, whether it be, interstate or internationally. Obviously this was pre-COVID, but like, I want to connect with the people in the New York office. I want to connect with the people over there and go and experience that. Like I want to dance purely for me, rather like without all of that, because I very much blocked. Whoa, hang on, can we stop for a second? Did I just say that I wanted to dance? Oh shit! Wow!
Yeah, you totally did just say that you wanted to dance and you wanted to do it for you.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Don't be sorry. I'm so glad that you heard yourself.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things I want to do.
That's massive. That's a huge change, because 7 months ago, what were you thinking 7 months ago about dancing?
That I never wanted to teach or see a dance show again. Ooh. Holy shams moly. That's wow, that's a bit of a nugget, isn't it?
So you want to dance again too, and you want to explore and see the world and be a part of this company long term. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank
don't
you.
forget, Jacq of all trades ain't walking out anytime soon. You're stuck with me.
Jacq of all trades is not going anywhere. Absolutely. And you are welcome to be a part of it for as long as you would like to be.
76 billion years.
Infinite numbers. Infinite numbers. Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
What else? Excuse me. The other thing was...
Glad I didn't pre-read these questions.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
Do you have any suggestions for future coaching or workshops?
ever make me punch a pillow again.
Say that again.
Actually, no. I was like, don't ever make me punch a pillow again. But in saying that, I do that now. I do that.
You know how to do it properly now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether I did it in front of you or not, I now feel comfortable enough to do it.
Okay. So does that mean you would like to do some more anger sessions?
Yeah, look, maybe there's definitely some anger floating around. There's definitely some anger. I think my blockage thing with that is showing anger in front of somebody. I think that's where the next blockage is. You know, I've been able to words come to me. I've been able to express anger in my own four walls, but I still think there's shame around someone else seeing me express anger.
Yeah.
I think that's still a whole other bucket. I think the first bucket
absolutely.
that I had to do was be able to actually identify that anger isn't aggression, and being able to be comfortable with anger.
Yeah.
And then the next one is that there still is no anger. There still is no shame with anger, and that it is okay.
Yeah.
For others to see you angry. Like that's
still
definitely
it's a work in progress for humanity to be okay with healthy anger, and we can't fix that in a blink of an eye. That's going to take every other human to become more conscious and aware of their behavior and their emotions. And so I think by you practicing being okay with your anger in a space that you feel safe to do that is where you'll find the path of least resistance, because we can't fix anyone. I can't fix you. I can't fix the next person who does a session. I can't even fix my family members or friends, we are just, the minute I'm able to take the responsibility off myself for fixing others, and I put the ball in everyone else's court, it's up to the person if they want to go that far. Like how I said with you and your every single case study session, it's up to you if you want to go into this. It's up to you how far you go with this. How hard is it holding it in versus how easy will it feel when you let it go? One person at a time is a lot more of a loving space and opportunity to let that really connect, rather than trying to fix the whole family at once kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got their own version of their experience, and if everyone's processing their own stuff at the same time, unless they've all done the work already, it's going to be a bit clunky. So anger sessions. I was actually talking about this with a group during the first chunk of ISO lockdown, and I was like, we should just have an anger party. Just get some cushions out, and we can all just take turns and hold the space for each person, and just anger and then a cup of tea and sleep like a baby.
Oh, the dream.
Don't do it all at once. Just choose one thing. There's always plenty to heal, but just choose one thing at a time. Anger sessions where you feel safe to do them. Sounds like a really good one. Nice.
But no, I don't think I'd really change. The perfectionist and planner of Jasmine would be like, oh, I want to know what's going to happen in the next session, but that would defeat the purpose. And I know that, having gone through it, if I had have known what the next week was, I would have started already overthinking how to be in that session. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the only one that I felt significantly, I wouldn't even say disconnected, but I can't find another word, but we'll use it for now until I find a word, was probably when we did the stuff on my dad, purely because I'm like, I know nothing or anything about this, but all very, very minimal. So I felt very disconnected in the sense of I didn't know how to heal something that I didn't know needed healing. Does that make sense? Cool. My dad walking out when I was 2 is a shitstorm, and that sucks. That's not meant to happen. But at the same time, I'd spent 18 other years without him. So it's just, it was I think that was probably not that could be changed, but that was probably the one that I felt most disjointed with, because I'm I don't know how. And I very much remember writing the letter, and I remember as part of the script part of it that I had to write, I still love you. And I'm like, but I don't know how to still love someone that I've never had the experience or the opportunity to love. Does that make sense? It was one of those weird things that I was like, look, there's probably healing here, but I don't know how to heal it because I don't really know what there is to heal.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been an experience per se.
Yeah.
So that was probably the weirdest out of the 10 sessions, purely because I'm like, I haven't sat with this pain. Like it happened so young that I've not forgotten it. And I'm pretty sure you'll never forget that you don't have a dad in your life, but like,
the most
without
unknown.
shaming it. Yeah. Unknown is a good one.
It's an unknown. My gut goes to, it's just an unknown. So based on past experience, there's nothing to signal you on how to behave or how to react based on not knowing anything in the past about a certain person. And to be able to process it with just an open heart and love the situation or love him for doing his best. Because I guarantee the expectation of one person to another will be different of how the situation played out. It's whatever the reason that you're all part of the same family, there's room to heal in that. And just because you don't know much and don't think there's much to heal, that doesn't mean that you can't inquire about how you can love the situation more.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity to just open the heart even more and even bring in some pwoah on even the identity of a father role not being there, rather than being like specific characteristic traits.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've been doing the work. I'm so proud. We totally went more than 15 minutes. We've gone on an hour now. Can you believe?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't even been looking at the time. Also,
That's
my glasses
okay.
aren't on, so I can't read the time. So,
so I will definitely wrap it up now, but I'd love to check in again with you in, let's say, another 6 months and see where you're at again. And of course, definitely, I don't know, book in a session when you can, when it feels appropriate, but also know that the tools you've got are also great and you'll be okay on your own. But if you need me to hold the space for you, just give me a buzz. If you could summarize your 10 sessions in a nutshell from your experience, what would you say?
in a nutshell, I'm going to try and do a small nutshell because nutshells can be big. Summarize my experience. Probably, if I could sum it up as short as possible, I would say it was start that again. It was a pretty challenging and draining experience at the time, but it was so rewarding even after each session, knowing that something had been let go. And and I now saw the world a lot clearer. And, I could receive love and acceptance and appreciation within myself and from others. Like I received it from others. So I think just being very open to myself and the world. Wow, that was very worldly, but it's really a very life-changing thing. And people are gonna be like, oh, it's cliche, but literally it has flipped my world on the tip, rocked it around a little bit, and then chucked me back up and let it all settle back down, and the other crap went out the door, and it's just the good sand that's left, like the fresh sand.
That's such a good visual.
I'm all about those visuals. Yeah, a very challenging but positive experience.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Of course, it's like you can totally share right now. We can do it anonymously and I won't have any idea who it is. Do you have any feedback for me as your breath worker?
I think it was kind of, I feel like it was a little bit different with you because we knew each other And I think especially early on, I banked on the fact that, oh, Jacq knows this about me. Like, I don't actually need to. Oh, I was going to say bless you.
It's gone. Sorry.
Sure. No, that's okay. Like, especially in the first, I'd probably say first 2 or 3 sessions, I remember catching myself being like, oh, I don't really need to unbox this because Jacq knows what I'm talking about. Like, so I think, like, but again, that was very much on my own ownership. But I think I banked the first few on, oh, Jacq knows me, so it's okay. So I don't need to unbox as much. Whereas I think as the sessions went on, not that you got firmer, but it was kind of the ownership then started progressively being reminded that it is on me. Like, this is my experience. It's not for you to fix me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily feedback on you per se. I think that's just feedback on the experience of us in a session together.
Yep.
But no, I very much felt comfortable in the sessions each time. Like, I at no point, apart from the anger session, but for a different reason, felt unsafe in the room, in the space with you. So I feel as though, no, I don't, like, nothing flashes out me like, oh, this was something that you should be saying. Like, it was a good experience. And to be honest, I don't think that, like, I can't imagine, if I was to imagine my like optimal person to do it with, I don't imagine anyone with different characteristics to what you held in that space. Does that make sense?
Awesome. Yeah, great. So what qualities were they that you enjoyed being around or being in the presence of?
I think it was just,
you said
like,
safe.
Safe,
yeah,
calming. Like, it wasn't, I didn't at any point feel shame for sitting there crying because I couldn't punch a pillow, or sitting there crying because I couldn't write someone's name on a piece of paper. Like, there was just a lot of openness in the room. Like, at no point did I feel that you were shut off for me to share my experience. Like, it didn't feel like I was sharing them to a wall. But at the same time, I knew that you weren't taking them on as your problem.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like, you know, like the squishy bouncy castles. Like, it was like, cool, I'll help, but, like, this is back on you. Like, it was like, cool, I'll listen, but this is how you fix it for yourself. Like, that. This is
what we can do
satisfying.
with this. That's an awesome way of looking at it. Yeah.
So yeah, like, safe, calming, open, loving. And I think accepting is the very big one in that room. Like, if I felt judged or not accepted, I don't think I would have come back, because like, I then would have put additional shame on myself. And especially early on, I still was in that habit of putting shame on myself for feeling. So I think just that reassurance and knowing that emotions are actually part of being a human, and learning how to process them and be content with having them is it's pretty cool. It's a pretty good one.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure if I have more questions, I can always ask you.
Oh, I'm an open book, Jacq. Read my pages.
There was one. Where is it? What was it? I can so see it. Where was it? It was something about if there was someone looking at the sessions, knowing how much of an investment they may have to make for this growth, what would you say to them to nurture their decision so that they can take care of themselves? Like, for example, the cost of you not doing it. You said in the middle of this sharing that you may very well not have been here anymore, which is massive. How would you express that to an audience who is sitting, maybe even watching this testimonial and going, or this feedback sesh, going, I think I want to be a part of this. I want this in my life, but I'm terrified, or I'm just not sure, or can't afford it, or whatever limitations they may be having at the time. What would you say to them if they're kind of sitting on the fence? about personal growth and emotional healing and breath work?
Yeah. Whoa. I don't think anymore.
Yes, you do.
No, I definitely do. No, I think simply if you, what's the word I want to use?
It's a pretty big question. If it doesn't come out straight now, we can always do it later. But it's a
it's
special
there.
one.
It's just, we're just going to jumble it and then I'll reword it. I'll re-say it once the
Yep,
jumbles
go.
come out.
I can splice things.
Yeah. Literally, wholeheartedly, without this program, I would not have turned 21. I would not have seen my cousin get married. I would not have seen my best friend turn 21. Like, it's all those different things. Or even if I still had have been here on this earth, I wasn't here with me on this earth. Like, I was somewhere else. And I feel like, whether it's people my age or whether it's people with kids or whatever, it really, if if you want to be the best person for yourself and the people around you, like, if you're in a shitty freaking situation, like, I was literally at the bottom and I was like, I don't think I can come back from this. This is just, yeah, cool, it's hard. Yeah, cool, you might not have the finances right now, but what are finances if you aren't mentally or physically here with the people that you love? Like, it's just, it, and I struggle sometimes with linking value, like financial value, to like benefits to things. But I honestly could not put a monetary value on life. Like, whether that be physically saving yourself physically or just saving yourself from yourself. Like, the amount of money that I spent on trying to give myself quick fixes or suppress what I was actually going through. I wish I did these 10 sessions years ago, because I would have saved so much. I would have been in a mansion by now, like $1 million mansion would be where I was at. But yeah,
Wow.
I really think, that if you want to be there for yourself and for your loved ones, there is no monetary value on that. There's probably more to that, but that's
well,
where I'm at right now.
You're totally welcome to write out your heart on a piece of paper, because I know you love your journal and you get into the writing. You're very creative with your writing. My arms and my heart are open to receive that if you'd like to go for that as well. But I am so grateful for what you've shared this afternoon. It is more than I ever anticipated. I didn't expect anything. I thought we'd have a quick, maybe I expected like a 15-minute chat to run through the question, but the conversation has been so natural and so open, and that just is such a pleasure to share this space with you because of how far I know that you have come. And what other possibilities will we come up with? We won't. We don't know. It's amazing. The unknown is so amazing, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to share this space with you, to not even share that with you, but so I can hear myself say how amazing is the unknown, and look at what has happened, even in the shitstorm of COVID and everything else. Case study, finishing in Feb, to where you are now, when back then you may not have even made it through the new year, your birthday, and to hear you speak about it now and you have come this far, that is just so powerful and life-changing, literally life-changing, to yourself, to your friends, to your family, to your career, but most importantly to yourself. That's the biggest one. That's huge. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yay.
Oh.
It's huge.
So nice to talk about this stuff to somebody that gets it.
I'm working on it. We're growing the community.
We are.
Feel free to share your insights and your triumphs and your challenges in the group too, because the community, Jacq of AllTrades community page, or the Highly Sensitive Girls page, or the whichever one that you find that you resonate with, because I kind of post quite similar but change language a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up now. so I can
Mhm.
refresh and get ready for the next thing. But please remember, I'm going to see you tomorrow anyway. We're going to do magic tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I thought magic was on Monday.
I mean, Monday. Sorry.
Oh, hang on. Or is something tomorrow?
No, we don't have anything
Monday,
tomorrow. Yeah, we've got it Monday.
Wowzers.
Instead of me saying tomorrow, I should have said I will
next
see you
time.
soon. But
Yeah.
the next day that I see you is Monday, not
Yeah,
tomorrow.
no, that's fine. That's okay. I'm not sure what day it is anyway. So
Today's
okay.
Thursday.
Great, thank you.
All right, have a wonderful evening, and I will speak to you soon.
You too.
Mwah. Bye.
Mwah. Bye.